What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Enigmatica 2 Expert. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode, we were working towards getting ourselves a creative fluid tank, right? And we have a good portion of everything in this list ready to go. We're currently working on these different fluids around the outside. That's kind of the important thing. I think Essence Bucket was the next one that we needed. Let's go back over to our ultimate crafting table and take a look. Yeah, so we did Witch Water. That was the last one we did last episode. So the next one here, if we continue going clockwise, would be the Essence Bucket. Now, Essence, we've seen, we can take Liquid XP, put it through the Fluid Dictionary Converter, and then you can get Essence that way. In fact, I think I had some set up over here. Yeah, we have Essence in the Enchantment Applicator, but we have a thing right here, so I can just put in a bucket of Liquid XP and then get a bucket of Essence out with the Fluid Dictionary Converter. So let's do that. We'll just grab a bucket. And I think I just right-click on one of these, right? Yeah, that's Liquid XP, right-click onto here, and then we have Essence. Right-click on that, and there we go. There's our Essence Bucket. Very, very simple. All right, so we've seen that a few times throughout this playthrough. Sewage Bucket, that's also going to be pretty easy because we set up a cow earlier on in this playthrough up here. And I have since removed the cow because it was mooing and it annoyed me, so I put it into a mob imprisonment tool. But yeah, we had the cow sitting on this animal sewer. This thing currently has 8 buckets of sewage in it. If we look in here, tank, we should have a 2,400 more buckets of it. I don't know if we ever need that much, but if we ever do, that's how we can get it. So we'll just put the bucket right here, and there's our sewage bucket. All right, so we got 7 more buckets there, and then like 2,000 more buckets in our applied energistics system. All right, so sewage bucket here, very good. Next up, that is UU matter. You know, I guess we could just go ahead and do that right now. Let's make a portable tank. Let's craft a brand new one of those. So that holds 32 buckets, and we can just come over here, which we already have UU matter. I think I turned this off. Yeah, we are no longer producing UU matter because we have, what is this, 1,400 buckets here, plus an additional, I don't know, 1,600 right there. Yeah, so we got quite a lot of it. So we need a full bucket, so we'll just go ahead, add this right like so. And there we go, there is 32 buckets and a full tank full of this stuff. We are good to go here. All right, so let's go add that to our collection. Boom, good. All right, so next one, we needed, okay, so this is the Pahoehoe Lava. Now, I've been talking about this, I think, the last couple times we looked at this recipe. I didn't know how to make this. I kind of looked it up a little bit. So we need to get ourselves a thing from IC2. Let's see. IC2, and I think it's called a heat exchanger. Electrical heater, radio. No, that's not what we want. Liquid heat exchanger. Do we have one of those by chance? Because I know we did some IC2 stuff earlier on. No, it doesn't look like we ever made one of these. Okay, so a liquid heat exchanger. So we're going to need this, and I think you need these heat conductors in there too. So let's see. Can we make that? We need a heat conductor. All right, so we're going to have to make, I think, 3 of these total. So copper plates. From what I understand anyway, I know it's part of the recipe to make one of these, and I think you need to have some of those inside the block itself. But again, I kind of looked it up, so I haven't tried this myself, so I don't know for sure. Do we have universal fluid cells? We have one that's full of air, and that's not what we want. So to make these, we need, oops, wrong one, 10 item casing. So let's just make, I don't know, 100 of those. More than what we're ever going to need, but it's fine. We'll just have them for later. We have plenty of tin. So 2 of the fluid cells, and there we go, liquid heat exchanger. Okay, so if we place this down, so we got a spot there. All right. And add heat exchangers for faster conversion. Oh, okay. So we can add in, it looks like, what, 5, 8 more? Let's go ahead and make more of those then, if this will make it go faster. So that was copper plates. Let's make, I don't know. How about 40? Is that enough? That might be enough. So we wanted 8 more of these things. Okay. Now we should have plenty of those guys in there. Cool. So yeah, we have to add in lava, and then that should exchange it, and then we should get Pahoehoe Lava, I guess. I'm not sure how these slots work. Obviously, we got a bunch of slots here. I assume this is fluid in, fluid out. I don't know what these are. Anyway, I don't know if this requires power. It says Transfer heat, HU max. All right, let's just try putting a bucket of lava in there and let's see what happens. I don't know if we have to do anything further to this thing. Lava. And here. So we have lava in there. It's used a little bit. Okay, so we have a little bit of Pahoehoe Lava. Now, how long does this take? Do we have to put something in here like ice or water? I have no idea. That doesn't go in there. That doesn't go in there. Okay, well, there's probably something else that we need to do. Something that's going to attach right to this spot. Let me go ahead and take a look at that. I thought that was all we had to do, but apparently there's something slightly more than that. All right, so apparently the heat exchanger, since I don't really know that much about IC2, this thing is like a generator, right? You put in hot fluids, either lava or the hot coolant, and it exchanges the heat and provides these heat units to things that accept heat units. Now, I was kind of looking, and the only things that accept heat units on the wiki is the blast furnace, which I went ahead and made one of these, and then there's also a steam generator and a Stirling generator. All right, so I guess those convert heat into EU or something, I guess. I went ahead and made the blast furnace. I don't actually know what all you put into here to do stuff with it. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how we can get this thing to work. Okay, so if I place that here and I do a shift right click on there, it says heat, but we aren't accepting heat. I don't know if this thing needs a recipe in order to do something. So let's right click, blast furnace. So it looks like we can put an iron ore and then we get steel. Okay, it's got to heat up. Pulverized iron turns into steel. Iron turns into steel. Okay, well, let's grab some iron. I don't think we have to do anything else special. We'll put a stack in there. And okay, so heat is building up and this is currently transmitting heat. And there we go. Okay, so now we are making Pahoehoe Lava. Easy. Okay, so that really wasn't that difficult. It's just something I've never done before. So there we go. So now a bucket of the Pahoehoe Lava. The heat didn't go all the way up. We didn't make any steel, but that's fine. We aren't really trying to make it. We have a better way of doing it through mechanism. So anyway, so we have this now. Easy. Cool. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is molten clay bucket. Now, I assume we just melt clay down in either a melter or something else. All right. So either clay, terracotta, whatever. We'll just grab some clay blocks. Looks like 2 of those will make a bucket of molten clay. Cool. All right, so let's grab a bucket. We'll add that to our collection. Oh, do I have to right click on it? And then it said on here, shift click to clear tank. Yeah, I think last episode, in order to clear that, I broke the machine and put it back down. And I thought that I saw something about clearing the thing, but yeah, for sure, there is a way to do that. Okay, and then Tritium Bucket. Ooh, how do we get this? Is that what we're doing in the... This is NUCLEARCRAFT stuff. I don't think we're going to be able to use the mechanism version of it. I don't know. So deuterium, tritium. Interesting. Okay, so heavy water. IC2 heavy water, mechanism heavy water. But we have some of this in the end, so we could grab some of that extra heavy water and put it through an electrolyzer. I don't know if there is a fluid dictionary converter for this. Let's see. Doesn't really look like it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab... it was an electrolyzer, right? That's what we needed? Electrolyzer, so heavy water. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make one of these, and then I will meet you guys in the end. All right, guys, so we're back here at the end at our reactor. Our heavy water production is being made right over here. So heavy water is going to our mechanism electrolytic separator, right? And we're turning it to deuterium and oxygen, and we're only storing up the deuterium. Yep, and that's part of the fuel for over there. But what we wanted to do is take some of this heavy water and put it through this electrolyzer here. This is the NUCLEARCRAFT one. So yeah, we're getting heavy water in. We'll go ahead and add in that and this. And then we'll just fill this all up. We'll be starving our system a little bit of the heavy water, just a little bit, but it's already got like all of this stored up, so it's not a big deal. So tritium, yeah, that's what we wanted, right? This stuff here. Let me double check our recipe. Yeah, tritium. So it's an upside down light blue bucket. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, so let's grab a bucket. And oh, can I not? How do I get that fluid out, I wonder? So if I clear this, and this, it'll fill this up more. So I wonder if I just keep doing this over and over again, like this will eventually fill up and then there will be no room for it to process anything else, right? Oh. Well, if I right click on here, I got deuterium. That's not what I wanted. Maybe I could just keep doing this until I get the fluid that I want. We keep getting deuterium out of here. Shift click. There we go. All right, so tritium. Yeah, that's the only thing that had a full bucket in here. Everything else, okay, we're fine. So heavy water. Yeah, I don't want this to go too crazy. Yeah, our pumps should be pumping, right? No fluid. It should still be producing heavy water, but it looks like it's not doing anything because all the heavy water is going in here. So let's turn this off. Okay, so I turned off the conduits going into our electrolyzer here, and yeah, we have heavy water filling up here and we have heavy water filling up here, and since this is a lower priority, it always tries to fill up the electrolytic separator first before it goes to our electrolyzer. So I can clear these all out. We'll chew through all the excess heavy water here, and then it'll fill up all of this stuff, but it will always make sure this thing is full first before putting any heavy water over here. So you can see now we're kind of filling up on this, and the other one has always stayed full. Yeah, so that's what we want. It's important that we keep this one full because that's what's running all the power in our base, right? So anyway, yeah, we're pretty good here. Yeah, we got plenty of tritium. All right, so we can move on. Let's go ahead and go back to the base. All right, very good. And then we can put our tritium bucket right here where it needs to go. All right, so we are done with the electrolyzer and that. So next on the list is neutron fluid bucket. So how do we get neutron fluid? This is from NUCLEARCRAFT. So we need a fusion reactor with tritium and hydrogen. And that gets us a little bit. So a bucket and a bucket gets us 5 millibuckets. Oh boy. Well, actually, it looks like it gets us 2 spots with 5 millibuckets, so it might turn into 10 millibuckets, right? Is there a good way for us to get this? Okay, so 10 and 10. So that's with tritium and a fusion reactor. Let's see, 10 and 10. So molten lithium 7 plus tritium. Oh man. Okay. So we got a bit of stuff to do here. Have we done the fusion reactor? Is that the thing that we had set up below? I don't remember if that was fusion or not. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So boron 11, lithium 7, boron 11, lithium and lithium. Yeah, so I guess the easiest one for us to do would probably be the tritium and tritium. Whichever one that one is. Yeah, and it also will allow us to use the NUCLEARCRAFT tritium too. So that should be relatively easy for us to do since we have a whole lot of that, I believe, back in the end. Okay, so fusion core, hold shift for more info. This is the central part of the multi-block fusion reactor that produces large amounts of energy from the heat generated by nuclear fusion reaction. The core needs to have a ring of fusion electromagnets around it symmetrically, connected by 4 sets of fusion connectors on all 4 sides. The ring, which is actually a square, needs to be hollow and does not require electromagnets to be diagonal to the hollow section. Active fluid coolers can be used here instead. Make sure that the far corners are fully squared off too. Okay. So this is different than what we did before. And I don't know if I've ever set up a NUCLEARCRAFT fusion reactor. We have a fusion core, apparently, on AutoCraft that must have been used for something. What did this use for? This was used for making the fusion controller, or the reactor controller. Oh, okay. Yeah, for making the fusion generator that we have in the end, right? So we needed one of those to do fusion crafting core. We're gonna need a few of those in order to make the creative generator for IC2. Okay, so we have had to make this before, but I don't know how to set this thing up. This is probably something I'm gonna have to go look up. Electric motors? Okay, let me go ahead and craft this up. We'll just make these electric motors, get this thing going. I will do some research on how this thing is set up, because this, I mean, it tells you some stuff here, but apparently you're gonna need to know a little bit about how this works in order for it to get going. So let me go read up on this and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so apparently in order to get this fusion reactor going, we need to have these fusion electromagnets and fusion connectors. So I just set up a whole bunch of stuff to auto craft here. We're gonna make 200 of these fusion electromagnets, which require a whole lot of items. Yeah, so this auto craft, it's gonna take a little while to complete, but yeah, I think that we are gonna need all this stuff eventually. So that's going. I haven't looked at the fusion connectors. I can't imagine those would be that expensive. No, those really aren't that bad. We're only gonna need like, I don't know, 12 of these things. It's not that big of a deal, but the way this thing works is you put the core in the center. You have to put these electromagnets, man, I keep saying that wrong, electromagnets around the outside of the fusion core. And then if they're big enough, you have to use these fusion connectors to connect the core to the electromagnets. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this finish up. I will create the fusion connectors, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and set this up in the end near our other fusion setup for mechanism. I don't think this has a chance of exploding. I don't think there's gonna be any problem with that, but you know, all the stuff that we're doing fusion is already in the end, so we might as well put this in the end as well. All right, guys, so here in the end, once again, it looks like we have an Enderman that can spawn over there. I'm gonna have to put a torch. Just saw that guy. Yeah, I set up a 16 by 16. We're just inside of one chunk right here. Yep, so that's the center of the chunk. And that's one chunk away from our current stuff. Again, I don't think this has a chance of blowing up or whatever, so it doesn't really matter if we're close or far, but yeah, I just figured we'll put it within range, so if I need to run a cable over here or something, it's easy enough to do. So yeah, we'll go ahead and place down this fusion core, right there on the center, I guess. Is that where I want it? I don't know. You can't really center a 3x3 block on a even number, right? Anyway, so we have the fusion core. What we need to do is take these fusion connectors, and we're gonna go 3 blocks away on all 4 sides. Yep, so like that, like these, 3 blocks here, and 3 blocks, whoops, 3 blocks here. Okay, so now that we have that, let's turn off these lines. We need these fusion electromagnets. So I've made 200 of them. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. I think it should be, but pretty much the way this works is you need to have a ring, a hollow ring of electromagnets in a square shape around this. And we're gonna do this 3 blocks away from the reactor, right? So like that, but hollow in the center. Okay, so then we just need to take this thing and bring it out like so, and then continue this pattern. So again, we'll do that, we'll hollow that out. And then the bottom ring needs to be connected, the side rings need to be connected, etc., etc. So we'll have the hollow square electromagnet ring all the way around this guy. All right, guys, so we have the fusion electromagnets all the way around like they should be, and we ended up with 8 left over, so we only needed 192 of the electromagnets. Yeah, we didn't quite need 200 of them, but that's fine. So it says it requires 50 RF per tick to stay active, and that's 50 per block, and I think these all turn into a multi-block, so they all require a certain amount of power per tick. Let's just throw a flux point on here, and let's see what happens as far as powering these up. So yeah, you can see that we are getting some of these that are turning green, and it looks like it's all turning green along the one row, right? Yeah, I think we want to do something. We wanted to like go down to this row and this row, so I think we have to run power cables around. What's it doing here? How much power are we doing? It's actually not using too much. Okay, so transfer limit is turned off, and it looks like we are providing power up to a certain point, and then I don't know why that isn't powering all the way down there. Maybe we have to have power cables running all along these blocks. Yeah, because obviously it's not keeping up. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that power is going down too much. Okay. Well, let's grab some conduit. I don't know if it needs a certain amount of power per block. If I add in like that, or what are we doing here? Does that go all the way around? How does this work? It looks like it's not really, well, it is kind of spreading out still, isn't it? So it looks like we might need to have a few of these on a few different blocks in order to make this all happy. So let's try and do something like this. Like that, and then we'll add in a few conduits over here and a few over here. Now, does that go all the way around? That's the question that I have. We still need to do that for the inside ring. Let's do this and that. So as far as this is concerned, yeah, we are putting out a decent amount of power. Only a few thousand, though, per connection. Not a whole lot. But it does not look like that is providing enough power to go all the way around. That is kind of interesting. So I guess we have to power the rings on one side and then power them on the other, and then they should meet in the middle. So powering the electromagnets from one side is not enough, even with all those extra cables. And then powering from two sides still wasn't enough. There was still like a few blocks on the sides that weren't powered that weren't staying charged. So I ended up removing a lot of the extra cables and just charging each different side on the middle blocks that were charging the middle ring here and the inside ring here. And the same thing down here. This ring is being charged here and here. And I guess we have an extra connection here. We could probably disconnect that. So anyway, we only have one connection per side per ring, right? Is pretty much what it seems like to keep these things powered. And everything seems to be going pretty good now. So I'm pretty happy with that result. Okay, so now that we have the electromagnets done, we need to provide this thing with fuel. And we're going to be providing it with, what were we using? Tritium, I think, on both recipes. Yeah, so tritium. And that's going to give us 10 millibuckets of neutron fluid. I guess, yeah, 20 millibuckets because 2 different tanks full. There's also some other things we should look at on this. So we got some buttons here. So prevent fluid overflow. If we're trying to do 2 different types of fluids, we want this thing turned on. That way it only fill up one tank with one type of fluid and then wait for another type for the other tank. But since we're doing tritium on both, we can ignore that. Void leftover fluid. I believe, actually, I don't even know what void leftover fluid does. The void output overflow. So what that does is when you combine these two, you get up to 4 different fluids as an output. And if this button is turned on, if you reach all the way full on one of these tanks over here, it'll turn off, or you can void and it'll just keep running, right? Ignoring the overflow. All right, so, and then the efficiency heat comparator thing. I'm not really sure how much of this we need to get into. We pretty much just need to run this so we can get ourselves that neutron fluid. We're just looking for 1 bucket of this stuff. So if we need to go crazy into this and actually use this thing, we can look at it. But for right now, I think we're going to be pretty good. Now, another thing that we do want to do is use active fluid coolers. Well, yeah. We kind of want to make sure the efficiency stays at 100%. Like as it heats up to a certain temperature, the efficiency will go to 100%. And if you go over that, then the efficiency lowers. If you are below that, the efficiency isn't as good. You don't get as much power. And I guess maybe the output fluids and stuff, maybe that only affects like if you're looking to keep the reactor running all the time and keep the maximum amount of power. But anyway, if you want to keep this thing in order, you need active fluid coolers, I guess, is the thing that I saw. And the way these work is these produce a certain amount of cooling per tick. I don't think it says on here what it is. I think it's 100 cooling per block. And if you mirror the location, so like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. If we mirror that and we put 5 in the same position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're on top on that side, on the bottom on this side. Then it quadruples the efficiency of these things. Yeah, so each one of these would be, well, actually, I think each one does 100 by itself. And if you put the other one over there, then each of them does 400, or maybe they do 400 total. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it should be something like that. So we can do it this way, and then we can do the same thing on this side. And I don't know exactly how many of these you want, but pretty much the goal is to get it so you are doing 5,000 heat. Yeah, that's what your goal is, to get, so it's up to 5,000 cooling. Anyway, so we have these dense infinite water sources here, which should provide the water for these active fluid coolers. So we'll just go ahead and throw some of those over here, and over here. The active fluid coolers, they do share water from one different source. Yep, so they are all getting all the fluid they need, so we should be good. And if that's not enough, I think we can extract out and pump into another side or whatever, but I think that should be pretty much all we need to do. Yeah, it looks like these are all staying pretty full. If we look at the reactor, it doesn't show anything is going on here. I think it might wait until it's actually running. So the next step is we need to get the tritium over here. So I did set up a thing. Yeah, we're up to 75 buckets of it. I set up a thing here. So we earlier made it so the heavy water is going into our electrolytic separator first, and then extra stuff goes into our electrolyzer. So it's just constantly taking the extra heavy water that we're not using for our mechanism reactor over here, and it is just processing that. And I have it set up so only tritium goes into our tank here on a highest priority, and then everything else goes into the fluid trash can. Now again, the highest priority only works if you have round robin disabled, so you need to make sure you turn that off. But yeah, if you filter in the fluid and that's the highest priority, if it ever extracts it out, it should go where you want it. Alright, so we have nearly 80 buckets. Let's get another tank here, because we're going to swap this. Tank. This one looks empty. Let's get ourselves a kit. Go and craft up a kit real quick so we can upgrade that to a higher tier. Alright, so we'll get rid of this guy. Gotta be kind of quick about it because I don't want to waste the tritium. So get rid of this guy and then place that back, and we should get tritium back in there. Very good. And then we will do one of these. Okay, so yeah, that's got plenty of storage space, so we can grab this stuff and bring it over here. Now the way these work is you just can insert fluids anywhere, which will go into the tanks, and then you can extract from anywhere, which will extract from these. So we're gonna need, let's take a look at the recipes again. If I click on here, show recipes, we want the ones that are making the neutron fluid out of 2 tritium, which is tritium, that's boron, tritium. Okay, so we are getting helium out and neutron out. So we want 2 different output tanks. So let's make 2 more tanks. Craft those up real quick. Okay. Fluid conduit we have on us. And then, just for sanity reasons, I will make some fluid filters. Because you could possibly get helium in one and then it overflows into the other one. You don't really want that, right? You want to make sure you get the fluids you want in one and the fluids you want in another one. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So this will be insert. This will be insert. We'll just disconnect that. Okay, so the first one, let's set this round robin disabled. We will set a filter on the insert, and that'll be, I guess, this neutron. Yeah, so neutron fluid should go in there, and then helium should go over into this one. We'll just leave it set up like this. So this will be extract, always active, round robin disabled. This will be a higher priority, looking specifically for neutron, and then anything else should go over into this tank. I think that should be pretty much all we need for the fluid extraction. And then this is set to always active. Okay, so let's grab a wrench and make sure this thing is set to, I'm not sure what this void leftover fluid is if like we put in more that keeps voiding it. I'm not sure I want to. I don't know what the check mark. Does check mark mean it's voiding and then that means it's not voiding? Or does that mean it's voiding and this means you're safe? I don't know. So I guess we're going to try this out. So let's do that. We'll start putting fluid in. Okay, it looks like we're not voiding anything, so that's good. So we have tritium. We should be pretty much good to go here. So let's grab a point. We'll put it down here. Enable false that this. Okay, so we're putting in a bunch of power. Whoop, that's loud. Are we getting anything? Nothing yet. So the temperature is going up. Okay, that is too loud. Let's go turn that down. Is that blocks, maybe? Better. Okay. So we currently have neutron fluid. Cool, so we did it. So we have helium over here. This is probably, we're gonna wanna put that in a trash can. Neutron fluid 60. Okay. Are we producing any power yet? No, we are not producing power, but we are using this stuff. Now, I guess the question is, like, how much of that are we using? So we got 3. Oh, wow, that's going pretty quick, isn't it? Wow. Okay. So does it use one tank over the other one, or are they using equal amounts? Okay. So how are we doing on the tritium over here? The question is, are we able to keep up with what we're doing? We got 7 buckets. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to keep up with that, huh? Yeah, that doesn't look like we're gonna be able to keep up with this. But, oh wait, look at this. We're making 1 RF per tick, guys. We're making 1 RF per tick. I assume you can extract power out of the core just like you extract everything else out. Yeah, so we're up to almost 1/4 of a bucket, but we definitely are gonna need a lot more tritium to keep this going. Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, I was able to keep the tritium going long enough so we can get over a bucket of the neutron fluid. I just came over here and I was timing and bottling our electric pumps. Yep. And we were able to, yeah, just keep it going for a little while, but we definitely don't make enough to keep this going indefinitely. So we have some tritium over here. Unfortunately, we can't take out of this tank and have it or whatever. Like, it fills up the one tank and anything left over, it fills up the second tank. So you essentially got to keep them both going all the time. You can see the temperature's going down, our stored power's gone away, all this kind of stuff. We can get rid of this thing. We're pretty much done with this for right now. And then if we ever need to make another bucket of this stuff, like, we have everything set up here to do it. And our tritium is currently being generated over here. So we should have plenty of this by the next time we want to do something. Anyway, we should be able to grab a bucket. And out of here, and there we go. There is a neutron fluid bucket. That took a little bit more time than I was expecting, but this is kind of cool because I've never really seen the NUCLEARCRAFT fusion reactor before. And also, the active cooling is shown right here. I thought it was displayed over here. It is displayed right here in the blue text. So we're currently doing 2,400. We would have to essentially double what we already have there in order to reach that 5,000 spot for it to be perfectly efficient. Yeah, anyway, but we weren't trying to keep this thing running all the time, at least not right now. So let's go back to the base. We can add a new, whoa, lag. We can add a new thing right into here. And there we go, neutron fluid bucket. That is awesome. Okay, so the next one, molten murian and then refined fuel. Well, let's do molten murian. So in order to do that, we can use our melter. Yep. And then we can just melt down ingots. So we're going to need like 7, 8 ingots, something like that. Let's see. Murian, we have 65. All right. I'm actually not sure. Is it 7 or is it 8? It's something like that. And then our melter should be over here. Melter. And yeah, 7 ingots leaves us with 8 millibuckets left over. Okay, so bucket. This is a very easy one compared to what we just did. And then I'll shift click the rest of that out of there. Okay, so there's this guy. And then refined fuel was the next one. So refined fuel is thermal foundation. We do need naphtha process and a fractionating still. Okay, so we get essentially 3 to 2, right? Yeah, that's the ratio. Reflex column, blue transposer, squeezer. Okay, so really we need to get naphtha. And naphtha comes from crude oil. So you get 200 millibuckets equals 150. And then the crude oil we get from what? I guess we just find that out in the world somewhere. The pump jack needs a pipe to bedrock to function. This is immersive petroleum. Okay, so we need... Well, actually, I feel like, didn't we collect some oil before when we're using some over here? Is this crude oil? I'm not sure what this is. What is this? This is crude oil. This is what we needed. Perfect. Okay, so we can grab that, put that through a fractionating still. Let's go back in here. So refined fuel, naphtha. Yeah, so fractionating still, we put the crude oil in, then we get tar and naphtha, and then the naphtha gets done into the refined fuel. So let me make a couple of these fractionating stills, and then we'll continue on. All right, so we have our crude oil tank on top of a fractionating still, which is set to insert from the top, export to the bottom. And then we have a second fractionating still, which is set to receive from the top and then export to the side. So we pretty much need to get one more fluid tank on the side, on that bottom one, then we should get refined fuel there. And that's pretty much all we're looking for. Okay, so now we should be pretty much good to go. I guess I can just press this button. Oh, I can't do auto input. Okay, so we need to get ourselves a wrench. And we'll do one of those. And yeah, so the crude oil goes into here. We're making the naphtha. That's coming down here. And then we're making the refined fuel. And we are good to go. Stop. Stop. Okay, so we just put like 10 buckets of stuff through there, which is fine. It is still filtering stuff through. And we got ourselves 5 buckets of refined fuel. Very awesome. So bucket, one of these, something like that. And now we can come down here and add that to our collection. Sweet. All right, so we got a good portion of this. I was really expecting to get more of this stuff done today, but getting the neutron fluid, oh boy, that took a little bit longer than expected, guys. Yeah, I had to sit down and learn a new function of a mod, something that I haven't had to do for a while, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, we might check out the NUCLEARCRAFT fusion reactor as a power source, maybe in this playthrough, maybe in another one, but it seems pretty cool to me. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.